Every city you see was designed. Not designed for you. No, it was for what you consume. Urban planners don't just build roads. They build your very behavior. Now your commute is data. Every step inside the grid is being tracked. Cities stopped being places to live. They became platforms to monetize. Cities were reshaped for cars, not people. That, my friends, was the beginning. The mall was never a town square. It was a controlled environment built to sell. You were never really browsing. You were always being guided. Las Vegas perfected the formula. Now every city is being rebuilt in its image. Public space became commercial real estate. The citizen became the audience. Every walk to the store became data. The resident became the product. Every single movement is tracked. Every single behavior is logged. Commerce and surveillance merged into one system. The grid is finally complete. Safety came at a steep price. The city knows everything about everyone inside it. Your map doesn't show the best route. It shows the most profitable one. The lampposts are always listening. The entire city is watching. Autonomous vehicles don't just drive. They scan, map, and record your city. Homes became commercial property now. The neighborhoods were hollowed out. Corporations joined the planning table. And the city was never the same again. The people finally saw the grid. And they all fought back. The grid can be resisted and cities can take their power back. Every city you've ever lived in was designed. Not for you, for what you consume. It is a system built for extraction. The streets, the lights, the stores, all of it. A circuit of commerce. A grid, hidden in plain sight, watching everything you do. Urban planners don't just build roads, they build behavior. Every corridor is engineered to make you spend. They build behavior, symmetrical cages for a predictable life. Every corner, every crossing, every corridor, all monitored in real time. engineered to make you spend. It is the architecture of control. Your morning commute is data. Your lunch break is a transaction record. Every step you take is a signal. Your lunch break is a transaction record in the ledger of the grid. Every single step you take inside the grid is tracked. Your movement is a signal that someone else is reading. They called it progress, smart infrastructure, efficient living. But behind every sensor, a corporation holds the map. But behind every sensor and every signal, a corporation holds the map. A corporation holds the map to your behavior. The city itself has been claimed by invisible powers. This is the moment everything changed, when cities became platforms to be monetized. Welcome to the grid, when cities stopped being places to live and became platforms. Every square foot is branded, sponsored, and monitored. Welcome to the invisible grid where you are the product. It began with highways, cities reshaped for cars. The car was the first instrument of market control. Cities were reshaped for cars, not for people. The car was the first instrument of market control. It was the first instrument of absolute market control. Victor Gruen wanted community. Instead, he created the consumption machine, a controlled environment for purchase. Instead of community, he created the consumption machine. The mall was never meant to be a town square. It was a controlled environment designed for one purpose: purchase. When chain commerce won, local life died. Isolation became the most profitable urban condition. Streets designed for cars killed walkability and community. Surge pricing extracts according to the pulse of the crowd. Isolation is the most profitable urban condition. The store layout is a script. You don't choose your path. Every turn was tested, measured, and optimized. You don't choose your path, it's chosen for you. Every turn is engineered. The casino was the template, a perfectly sealed commercial ecosystem. Every square foot sold to the highest bidder in this canyon of screens. Las Vegas perfected it first. No clocks, no exits. Now every city is being rebuilt in its image. There is absolutely no escape from the relentless need to spend. The city works perfectly, but it knows everything about everyone inside it. Who is it that programmed these rules and who truly benefits from them? Times Square isn't chaos, it's design. Every square foot sold. The city is billboard, the citizen is audience. The city has been transformed into a billboard, and the citizen has become nothing more than its audience. In this new world, every single movement is tracked, and every behavior is meticulously logged. But we must ask ourselves, this is the perfect city for whom, exactly? Robert Moses built roads and destroyed neighborhoods. Power in cities is about who controls the routes. The partnership was sealed behind closed doors. Every neighborhood, a node in their supply chain. The city as product, the resident as content. Public transit became a sales funnel. You can't reach your train without passing the stores. Infrastructure fused. The commercial nervous system never resting. The grid never truly sleeps, it waits. And the city would never be the same. Amazon restructured the geography of commerce. The city became a delivery network. Every neighborhood a node. Public land, private control, designed exclusion, feeding data back with every journey. The partnership was sealed behind closed doors, and the city would never be the same again. When corporations sit at the planning table, who does the city serve? The partnership was sealed in secret. Cities were reshaped for the machine, not the soul. The grid doesn't serve everyone equally. The template for extraction was drawn decades ago. Google's Sidewalk Toronto called it a neighborhood, but every cobblestone was a sensor for harvesting civilian data. In China, the grid of surveillance is absolute. The template for extraction perfected in the desert. Communities bisected for the flow of revenue. Neom's the line, a city with no roads. Every movement tracked. 10,000 people displaced to build it. The city became a delivery network for power. Your footsteps are auctioned to the highest bidder. Public land under total private control. In China, the grid is complete. Commerce and surveillance merged. What Hangzhou built, the West builds tomorrow. The commercial nervous system never rests. The most surveilled city-state on Earth. Your face is a biometric key in their ledger. Singapore offered a bargain, safety for privacy. The city works perfectly, and it knows everything about everyone. Everything you need within their reach. It knows everything about everyone inside. You paid for rent with your privacy. Your map app doesn't find the best route, it finds the most profitable one. The sidewalk is now sponsored. The extracting the pulse of the crowd. Public space rebranded as corporate territory. Sidewalks are now sponsored environments. The 15-minute city sounds like freedom, but who decided what you need, and who profits from every stop? They profit from every single stop you make. The city is being digitized at street level. optimizing capture across the global grid. They took the commons and gave it back with strings attached. Public space rebranded as sponsored experience. Not for you, for what you consume. Every crossing is a behavioral trap. Your morning commute is data in their machine. Hudson Yards was sold as a neighborhood, but it was a premium product, public land under private control. Beneath the streets, a corporation holds the map. This is the moment everything changed. Monetized from the very beginning, gentrification is market control made physical. Replace the people and you reshape the spending patterns. Isolation is the most profitable urban condition. It began with highways and parking lots. Commerce and surveillance merged into one system. Stadiums are the grid's crown jewels. Public money, private profit, the city rearranges itself to serve them. Every face recognized, every movement mapped. It was a controlled environment with one purpose: purchase. But behind every sensor and every signal, a corporation holds the map. The lampposts are listening. Every block in the modern city is a data collection point for intelligence. Engineered to make you spend. It is the architecture of control. Streets designed for cars killed walkability and community. The car wasn't just transportation, it was the first instrument of control. Autonomous vehicles don't just drive, they map and scan. Your city is being digitized for private servers. Victor Gruen wanted community. Instead, he created the consumption machine. You don't choose your path, it's chosen for you. Every turn is tested. The casino was the template, and now every city is being rebuilt in its image. The grid predicts your behavior, a city governed by algorithm. Who programmed the rules and for whom? Your movement is a signal that someone else is reading. Every step is data. The highway advanced like a blade through the heart of the community. Every turn was tested, measured, and optimized for extraction. Airbnb converted homes to commercial property. The housing grid inverted, serving visitors over residents. The streets, the lights, the stores, all of it. A circuit of commerce. This is the moment everything changed. The grid is live. Isolation is the most profitable urban condition in the invisible grid. The city never sleeps, it fulfills. Dark stores, midnight robots, commerce stripped of its human face. Every square foot sold to the highest bidder in this canyon of light. And without walkability came isolation. Pedestrians pushed to the edge. Drone descending into the heart of the commercial canyon. Surge pricing isn't a bug, it's the system. Every crowd becomes a real-time auction for your money. Every neighborhood is now a node in their global supply chain. Power in cities has always been about who controls the routes. The city itself has been claimed by corporate power. Your home isn't your castle anymore. It's a subscribed service. You paid rent and paid with your privacy. A grid, hidden in plain sight, watching everything you do. Your movement is a signal someone else is reading. It began with highways and parking lots, reshaping the world. Restricting movement creates captive markets. The traffic zone is about directing feet toward certain stores. The car was the first instrument of market control. Instead of community, Victor Gruen created the consumption machine. Urban behavior is built into the very grid of the city. The city breathes with commerce. The pulse of the grid is measured in transactions. Someone is always watching. Every movement is tracked in the bloodstream of the organism. It began with the expansion of the American suburb. Power is who controls the roots of commerce. Every city looks different, but every city runs the same code. The invisible grid is global, designed in one room. Without walkability, the urban condition becomes isolation. Sensors are embedded into every brick and beam. The intersection is a circuit board of consumption. The people who design your city, they certainly don't live in it. They study it from conference rooms in California, and they see data, not people. Your city's data doesn't live in your city. It flows to industrial-scale servers owned by corporations. The knowledge of your community is extracted and stored elsewhere, by companies that answer to shareholders, not residents. Your loyalty card gives you points. It gives them everything else. Every grocery run builds a picture of who you are, what you fear, what you'll buy next. Before a store opens, they've already mapped you. Your neighborhood's spending potential, calculated. Your income, your age, your habits, sold to the developer. You don't choose the grid chooses you. The gig worker doesn't own the route. The algorithm assigns every step. The city is their workplace and their cage. Managed by software, accountable to no one. Tech districts don't just change the economy. They change who belongs in the community. The language of innovation is the language of exclusion. The grid upgrades and discards what's left behind. The tech campus is a city-state. Everything provided, and so workers never leave and never spend in the city that hosts them. The grid serves its builders first. The corporation wins the bidding war, tax breaks, land, infrastructure, their own identity, and the residents pay the price for decades. Every store you walk past is being studied. Who visits, when, for how long, and how much they spend. Your neighborhood's commercial life, sold as data product. The city mapped for someone else's profit. The buildings look local and deeply rooted in the community. The money extracted is not local. Commercial real estate consolidated into corporate hands, cities rented from absentee landlords with global portfolios. Drone shot of a city's retail vacancy corridor, block after block of empty storefronts. Asking price far above what local businesses can afford. REIT contact number at the bottom. Hold the rent high, keep it empty. The community pays the price for the asset's gain. They've started selling the sky, air corridors above your neighborhood, auction to delivery companies. The grid extends upward now. There is no public space left, above or below. Opportunity zones were sold as uplift. The tax break went to the investor, not the community. Capital flowed in, residents flowed out. This was the blueprint for displacement. Another instrument of the invisible grid dressed in legislation. Parking wasn't just about cars. It was always about control over access. Privatized, algorithmicized, optimized for extraction. Every spot a toll. Every space a toll booth for the invisible grid. The city isn't just where you live, it's where global supply chains terminate. The port, the warehouse, the store, one continuous grid. Your city is a node in a planetary commercial network. Every meal out is a data transaction. What you ordered, how long you stayed, what you paid. The restaurant knows your patterns, and so does the platform they're renting the menu from. Healthcare has its own grid. Facilities clustered where insurance pools are richest. The hospital is both a public institution and a major commercial anchor. Healing, branded, care, monetized. Universities don't just educate, they also accumulate. They accumulate land and property block by block, tax-free, tax-exempt land ownership expanding into neighborhoods, the academic grid consuming city blocks tax-free. Military surveillance became urban management. The technology that tracked enemies abroad now tracks citizens at home. The defense grid and the commercial grid are the same grid. Democracy didn't disappear in the cities. It was captured by corporate interests and zoning policy wish lists. The people who design the grid also fund the people who approve it. The grid doesn't just extract commerce. A corporation's lawyers reducing a skyscraper's assessment by 40%, shifting the tax burden to homeowners. Corporate tax minimization, a legal heist from the community. The invisible grid takes and leaves the city to pay. Water, the most basic grid of all. Profit margins displayed alongside service coverage metrics. When profit governs water, who governs the poor? The invisible grid reaches into every home, every tap. The digital grid replicates the physical one. High bandwidth where money lives, dead zones where it doesn't. Access denied, not by accident, by design. Food deserts aren't natural phenomena. They're the grid's decision about food access. The commercial grid's deliberate arrangement of consumption options. The supermarket chose not to come, and the fast food chain was there before the neighborhood was built. Green space is not distributed equally. The grid reserves beauty for those who can pay for proximity. A park isn't just recreation, it's a signal of who the city values. Health became a premium product and then a neighborhood. Wellness districts draw those who can pay. Every storefront catering to premium health consumption. Healthy living commodified and sold as a residential lifestyle brand. Health as geography, available only to those who can afford to live within its borders. This is the machine beneath the city, running 24 hours, optimizing constantly. Every resident a revenue unit, every neighborhood a market segment. The consulting firms sell the blueprint. Cities buy it thinking it serves the public. Pre-formatted for corporate adoption. Every recommendation has a client behind it. Exactly the transformation the consultant's corporate clients required. The street is now a research instrument. Your walk to work, a data set for sale. Every hesitation, every window glance. Market intelligence for the grid's operators. Your streets are being mapped for private commercial purposes. The public road becomes a private data asset, monetizing the street-level data harvested from years of public road mapping. The city gives the grid keeps the data. Ports were public, now they're leased. 99 years of your harbor sold. Close-up of a port privatization contract, 99-year lease. Displaced by the grid that now owns it. Transit became a shopping destination first. Mall is the obstacle. Shops that require navigating to reach the platforms. Mall is the obstacle. Commercial rent from station retailers now essential to system funding. The commuter is the audience, the retailer is the client. The old factory made things. The innovation hub makes appearances. The innovation hub makes appearances. The workers who built the building are gone. The grid renamed the space and erased its history. Convention centers are the grid's temples, public funded, privately enjoyed. Hundreds of millions in public investment, privately managed, commercially optimized. Another commercial anchor sold to cities as civic investment. Another commercial anchor sold to cities as civic investment. Your city belongs to no one who lives in it. The buildings are owned by funds. The funds belong to corporations. The corporations by shareholders. Shareholders who have never walked your streets. This is the invisible grid. The people finally saw the grid, and they named it for what it truly is. The streets they marched through, designed to silence them. But the grid had not anticipated this. Resistance begins with a map. When communities chart their own territory, the grid loses its monopoly on spatial knowledge. The countermap is the first act of liberation. The rent strike itself is ancient, and it still works effectively today. When collective action confronts the grid's income simply stops. Mutual aid doesn't sell, it shares. A network of solidarity invisible to the commercial grid. Where the grid creates scarcity, mutual aid creates abundance. The oldest human system reclaimed. When government restrains the grid, commercial rent control is not radical. It's the difference between a neighborhood and a mall. San Francisco banned facial recognition first, then Oakland, then Boston follows. Cities proving the grid can be rolled back. New York took back its apartments. Barcelona cracked down on tourist accommodation. Amsterdam restricted Airbnb to 60 days per year. The housing grid can be reclaimed, city by city. The right to the city is more than a slogan. It is a claim that public space is for the public, that the city belongs to those who inhabit it, not those who have merely purchased it. You don't need permission to reclaim a street corner. Guerrilla gardens, pop-up plazas, painted crosswalks, tactical urbanism, the grid challenged at human scale. The city remade one act of defiance at a time. Sometimes the community wins, and the corporation builds elsewhere. The planning process is imperfect, but it is one of the grid's few legitimate vulnerabilities. Antitrust law is the grid's oldest enemy. When monopoly is named, the law can act, but the grid moves faster than legislation. Every victory must be defended before the grid adapts. Cities are building their own networks. Public broadband, the internet as infrastructure. When the city owns the network, it serves residents, not shareholders. Public transit is the city's immune system. It moves people, not products. When transit expands, the private mobility grid contracts. The city reclaims its circulatory system. Community land trusts remove land from the market. Permanently, legally, democratically. Land justice, one deed at a time. The city's cooperative economy district, governed democratically. Profit shared with those who create it. The grid must occasionally serve everyone, by law. Legislation carving a human door. The commercial grid pushed to the perimeter. Life restored to the center. Vienna built the model for everyone. Singapore made a fundamentally different choice. Seoul demolished a massive elevated highway. Restored a stream, gave it to the people. The commercial logic said keep the highway. The city extended its grid, not to extract, but to include those the grid had always left behind. Because the grid itself is global, whom does this city truly serve? Not because it replaces the food system, but because it proves the food system is a choice. You can choose not to be fed by the grid. Oslo removed cars from its center, not to restrict commerce, to restore humanity. When the street belongs to people, the workers built their own platform. Driver-owned, worker-governed, operating in the same grid, but serving themselves first. The gig economy's own tools turned against it. The grid is not invincible. Where you spend is a political act. The local store keeps money in the community. The chain extracts it. Consumer choice, one of the few grid controls available to individuals. Public money can demand community return. Social value procurement, the city's spending power as policy tool. When government buys with values, the commercial grid must adjust to those values. Climate disruption is disrupting the grid. The infrastructure built for extraction cannot withstand the planet's response. Crisis creates the conditions for redesign. Cities are building their own technology. Open source, publicly owned, shared freely. When cities code for communities, the commercial digital grid loses its monopoly on the urban interface. The resistance is not one movement. It is 10,000, each one local, each one connected. The countergrid growing. Whom does this city serve? The surveillance arm of the grid, legislated blind. A different economy built inside the same city. Inclusionary zoning tells the grid you must include. The state owns the land, the housing follows. The commercial grid operates, but within limits. Public land ownership is the foundation everything else builds on. Medellin connected its most excluded citizens. Cable cars to the hillside, libraries in the margins, cities on every continent asking the same question. It is built and maintained by human decisions. And human decisions can be remade. Every election, every policy, every act of resistance, a choice about what kind of city we build. Not because it replaces the food system, but because it proves the food system is a choice. The resistance is not one movement. Crisis creates the conditions for redesign. Cities are building their own technology. The infrastructure built for extraction. The commercial digital grid loses its monopoly on the urban interface. The surveillance arm of the grid is increasingly challenged. Every resident a planner, every vote a spatial decision. Participatory budgeting gives the city to its people. The grid was never asked what the community wanted. London's streets reclaimed at night. Parisian rooftops in the quiet light. The dense energy of São Paulo, faces of a global movement. A new day for the city. Growing life in the concrete grid, preserving the seeds of change. Sharing the harvest, bypassing the grid. Oslo's streets are for people now. The heart of the city car-free. A political win for the community. Riders reclaiming the gig grid, shifting the power at City Hall. Diverse leaders for a new city, power returned to the public. Solidarity in every shop window, signing the pledge to shop local. Money staying in the neighborhood. The street is bustling once again. Now imagine something different, not the end of commerce, the beginning of balance. A city designed for the people who live in it. What would that look like? Every parking space is a choice. That land could be a park, a home, a gathering place. The post-car city doesn't eliminate movement. It gives movement back to the body and the street back to the people. What if residents designed their own buildings, not as customers, as architects of their own lives? The built environment as community expression, form following need, not profit. Money is a tool, not a master. A public bank deploys capital for community benefit. The Bank of North Dakota has operated this way since 1919. Dozens of cities are learning from it. The Commons is not a failure to privatize, it is a success at governing together. Resources shared by all, managed by all, benefiting all. The grid made of neighbors instead of transactions. What if the city measured success differently? Not GDP, not commercial floor space, not retail turnover, but time, connection, health, joy. The city that asks, are we well? Not, are we profitable? The 15-minute city works if it's for everyone, not just the affluent residents who can afford the convenient neighborhood. Proximity means nothing if you can't afford to be close. Design the access, then fight for the affordability. Universal basic services. The city as provider. Free transit, free childcare, free access to knowledge. The commercial grid taxed to fund the human one. Cities that tried it found it worked. The city was never just human. It is shared with 10,000 other species. The ecological city makes room for life beyond commerce. The grid that includes the living world is the only sustainable one. Henry George's insight: tax the land, not the building. Hold land vacant, pay the full cost. Develop the land well. The tax remains the same. Land value taxation makes the grid speculation unprofitable. What if the city had quiet zones? Not just noise, commercial noise. Spaces free of tracking, targeting, behavioral surveillance. The right to exist in public without being sold to. Algorithms governing cities must answer to cities, not to the corporations that built them. Algorithmic accountability, the newest form of democratic oversight. The grid's code subject to the community's scrutiny. The grid's harm was not random. It followed racial lines drawn by deliberate policy. Reparative investment acknowledges what was done and only begins to make it right. Culture cannot survive at market rates, art, music, community, displaced by the grid wherever it isn't protected. Cultural protection zones say some things matter more than rent. The city's soul is worth the legislation. Small businesses are the city's connective tissue, the hardware store, the barbershop, the family restaurant. Protecting them is protecting the city's identity. The grid must be told, these things are not for sale. The city that grows its own food knows where its food comes from. Urban agriculture is not a luxury. It is food sovereignty, grown on rooftops. Democratic housing governance. Residents in control, not tenants, not customers, governors. When those who live in housing manage it, the priorities of management align with the priorities of life. Transit democracy, the community as route planner, whose journey matters, whose connection counts. When residents design the network, the city moves differently, more humanly. Universal basic income changes what the grid can demand. When survival is guaranteed, you can refuse bad deals. Income security is the foundation of genuine commercial freedom. The ability to say no is the most valuable thing the grid denies. Commerce can be regenerative, not just sustainable, actively restoring what extraction damaged. The business that heals its community, the store that restores its street, a grid that gives back more than it takes. Displacement can be reversed, the right to return, not as nostalgia, as justice. The city that displaced can also reclaim and restore. Speed is the grid's competitive advantage. Slower commerce is the community's response. Not inefficiency, deliberateness. When commerce moves at human pace, it becomes human again. The commons is not a single place, it is a network. Islands of collective ownership, scattered through the commercial ocean, each one a refuge, together a civilization. Commercial diversity can be legislated, chain store caps, diversity requirements, local ownership incentives. The city can mandate the variety the market eliminates. A street that looks like its neighborhood, by law. No city achieves perfection, but direction matters. A city oriented toward its people, moving toward them, however slowly, is a fundamentally different kind of place. The city works when it includes everyone, not as consumers, as citizens. The child playing in the street costs nothing to the market and is worth more than the market will ever calculate. The care economy is the city's real economy, the one that raises children, supports the ill, honors the aged. The commercial grid extracts and the care economy sustains. A city that funds care, understands what life is for. The city at night belongs to those who live in it, not to entertainment corporations managing experiences. Community-governed nightlife, local, accountable, alive. The city singing its own song, not someone else's brand playlist. Housing is a human right, or it is nothing. The city that accepts homelessness accepts the grid's judgment that some lives do not generate sufficient commercial return. A city with housing rights rejects that judgment entirely. This city exists in fragments, in Vienna's housing, Barcelona's streets, Medellin's cable cars, in every community garden, every rent strike, every cooperative. The city that could be is already being built. The designers of the invisible grid are not the only designers. Every resident who organizes is writing the city's next chapter. The grid's power depends on your ignorance of it. When communities understand the data, they can challenge the decisions made with it. Knowledge of the grid is the first step to redesigning it. The next generation of planners knows the history. They know what the grid did and what it doesn't have to do. Trained in justice, committed to community. The grid's designers, redesigning the grid. The city is not finished. It is never finished. Every day, the city is remade by every decision made within it. The invisible grid is powerful, but so are you. The invisible grid was designed to make you invisible, a consumer, a unit, a market segment. But cities are made of people, not products. And people, when they choose to be, are ungovernable. The grid is invisible. The resistance is not. The city that could be is yours to build.